What is one thing that defines who you are? Something that is part of your identity. Is it perhaps your smile, your teeth even, your hair, your eyes? Something about you that's been highlighted throughout your life, usually by other people. Now, what if you suddenly lost that? Who would you be then? Part of what defines me is being the stereotypical blonde, blue-eyed Swede. It's part of my identity, it's my normal. I'm pretty enough, blonde enough, and Swedish enough by cultural and societal standards. Or rather, I was. Until this happened. I'm going to put her right there. She's still part of me. 4.5 years ago, in 2014, I lost all of my hair, including my eyelashes and eyebrows, to the autoimmune condition alopecia, which basically means that I have a super strong but super confused immune system that treats my hair as if it's not a part of me. So as long as I'm hairless, my immune system is hard at work thinking it's doing a great job. And in the space of 6 months, I went from having a full head of hair, that was so much of my identity right there, to bald patches, to overall thinning of my hair, and to eventually taking control where I could by shaving off whatever hair I had left. And that was one of the most emotionally painful experiences of my life. And I remember sitting there with clippers against my head, which that alone was the strangest thing because I would never, ever, ever let scissors or clippers near my hair. And I was sitting there, and as I was separating my hair from my scalp, and the few times I dared look at myself in the mirror, I actually felt like I was disfiguring myself. Which might sound like an exaggeration, but I wasn't just losing my hair. I was losing something that I had identified with my entire life. My hair made me feel girly as a girl, feminine as a woman, pretty, worthy, special. But I later realized that I didn't feel that way because I just felt that way. I'd been taught to feel that way. And my teacher was history, culture, media, and advertising. So with all these beliefs about who I was based on the length and color of my hair, of course, it was only the natural that I would suffer when I started losing it. Because if long hair meant feminine and beautiful, then balding meant sick and ugly. So I isolated myself, and I started worrying about things like, I moved to Los Angeles to be an actor. I'm going to have to quit that dream now because who in Hollywood will hire a bald woman? This is not represented anywhere unless you're sick. Maybe an alien. I was worrying about my future children, who would surely get bullied at school because their mother was not normal looking. And what about that $3,000 wig I would have to get? My cats would surely find it and ruin it. Like, these were actual thoughts I was having. And somewhere in between my suffering and worrying about a future that hadn't even happened yet, I remembered something. Pain was inevitable, suffering optional. Pain is a natural part of being human. Suffering is the story we tell ourselves about the pain. And my suffering looked like being in isolation, thoughts of, I'm ugly, no one understands what I'm going through, it shouldn't be this way. So, it was just really strange that I just got that because I was resisting something that I couldn't change. I couldn't change the fact that I had whatever hair I had, and I had tried. But I could change how I thought and how I felt about it. So in that moment, I embraced the pain. I allowed myself to cry and be sad and feel the pain, and I didn't make myself wrong for that. And I also gave up suffering. I gave up the resistance that life should look any other way than it did. And that gave me access to peace and freedom. And when I tried on a wig for the first time, I did not expect to feel joy or excitement because I did not walk into the wig store that way. And then I found this. And even though the picture is blurry, you can just tell that there is joy present there. Because in that moment, when that hair got on, I instantly got my hair back. Now, the only difference was that it wasn't growing out of my head, and I could remove it. So I got this really awesome idea that life was going to be full of exciting possibilities. Like I could just step back into my old normal, being the blonde, blue-eyed Swede, and then just take it off and become this really edgy, cool bald chick. As an actress, who would not want to hire me? Like, this is my superpower, surely. If that which defines you suddenly disappeared, who would you be then? I grapple with that question a week or so after my head shave because every time I looked in the mirror or just caught my reflection in a window, I jumped. I wasn't used to seeing that person in the mirror. So there was a disconnect there because over here with me, when I wasn't looking at myself, I had the same thoughts and feelings and emotions. Nothing was different. It was only when I looked at myself from the outside, observing myself. And at that moment, I truly got that I'm not my hair. I was never my hair. And if I'm not my hair, then I'm not my body either. I have it. It's my home. It's my vehicle for life. A whole lifetime of judgments and labels and views of who I should be and what I should look like just dissipated. And I was free because I didn't have to be defined by anything. It had nothing to do with who I was. And I know we may have inherited certain views of what beauty, perfect, and normal is supposed to look like, but the truth is that you get to decide what that is. So for me, bald went from sick and ugly to edgy and unique. Alopecia went from disease to superpower and a blessing. I chose to redefine what those words meant to me, and that took me from living my life impaired to living empowered. And considering that I was thinking about hiding my baldness, I'm really glad I didn't, because now I can look like this all in a matter of minutes, and I don't even have to explain myself. I'm fully free to express who I am because I'm not hiding any of it. Your vulnerability is your strength. And I was held captive by an idea that I needed to look a certain way and be a certain way in order to be beautiful and simply just good enough. And I would like for you to consider that you already are and always have been completely normal, beautiful, and perfect. And perhaps it's time for you to redefine your view of who you are. Thank you.